Absolute perfection. Why, look, it's a guy whose head is made from a potato. Let's call this Potato Guy. I'm going to turn myself into a gratin. Ooh la la. Now look, my long, luscious hair. Oh no, please don't. Oh no, please don't. Why did you have to do that? Because we're trying to make a meal here. Well, okay. Welcome to the Hunter Report, and today we're doing a real classic potatoes au gratin, or as we call them in the United States, au gratin. This is comfort food. We're talking potatoes and cheese. Now, this is an original recipe introduced by Chef Daniel Boulud, which is the original French chef who came to the United States in the 60s and 70s and really introduced gourmet cooking to New York City and really the rest of the United States. He is an incredible chef with tremendous energy. I'd love to meet him one day. So, this is technically gratin au forestiere, meaning forest, because there is mushrooms in here. I'm a huge fan of mushrooms, and I'm a huge fan of au gratin. So, please subscribe, please give me thumbs up, and let's take a journey to the land of comfort food, of cheesiness, potatoiness, mushroominess, and feel-goodiness. This recipe serves potatoes au gratin for 4 people. Here's what we're gonna need: a cup and a half of heavy cream, butter, cheese. In our spice department, we're gonna need a fresh nutmeg, and fresh spices are so much more better than dried spices. And dried spices lose flavor 24 hours after they are opened. We need white peppercorns, and those are hard to find. So you can get one of these multi-peppercorns, and we're gonna pick out the white ones. Thyme. We want 2 pounds of potatoes and as many mushrooms as you can find. I have regular white mushrooms, little cremini mushrooms. I have dried porcini mushrooms, however, fresh mushrooms are far better, and I have oyster mushrooms. Definitely, if you can, get some chanterelle mushrooms, some seep mushrooms, and make sure to get these in the morning or even a day or 2 in advance. They are very expensive and hard to find, but especially chanterelle mushrooms are so worth it. The flavor, there's nothing like it in the world. So let's get started. Let's rehydrate our dry porcini mushrooms. Add some water. Take another container with water so that they all get pushed down. And you want to let them soak for an hour. Your mushrooms are going to have dirt on them, so make sure to wash them and dry them. Dry them on a clean cooking towel. For your oyster mushrooms, cut off enough of the stem so that they can individually separate. Cut the stems off of your oyster mushroom. I want to remove this edge right here. And then we do slices that are about 1/8 to 1/16 of an inch. Make sure to cut and keep all your mushrooms separately, because we've got the mushroom express over here. We're going to do each mushroom in its own pan because they have different cooking times. We don't want to burn anything. So for each handful of mushroom, we want 1 tablespoon of butter. That was 2 handfuls, so we're going to do 2 tablespoons. Got our butter, mushrooms. There's no heat on this yet. All right, the Mushroom Express is definitely ready to leave the station. There is no heat on. We're gonna do about 4 minutes. And you gotta know your pans. You gotta know your burners. These are all different size burners and different pans. So you really gotta know what you're doing, or if you want to keep things simple but it will take longer, use the same pan each time. Let's see which one comes out first. We're not browning these mushrooms. The moment they begin to brown, we turn off the heat, and you notice how the mushrooms are producing a liquid. We're going to drain that liquid too. All right, these guys are looking good. Let's go and drain them. Take the mushrooms from the pan and put them into a colander to drain. and gently press. After draining, you can put them all in a Tupperware bowl, and you could do this a few hours in advance, no more than 3 hours in advance. Starting from the top of a twig of thyme, pinch your fingers and the leaves will just fall off correctly. Chop them finely, and we're going for 1/8 of a teaspoon. Then just add it right into the mushrooms and we're good to go. Smash a clove of garlic, then chop it up nice and fine. And add it right in with the thyme and the mushrooms. So we've added our garlic and our thyme to our mushrooms, and then we mix them together because they're going to go to a place that I like to call flavor country. So you can let this sit at room temperature for no more than 3 hours, but you can save a lot of time by starting a recipe that way. Potato peeling time. So cut your potato into 1/8 inch thin pieces. This is much easier if you have a mandolin. Make sure the bottom is flat so it stays nice and stable. It makes it much easier to cut. So 1.5 cups of heavy cream. 1/8 of a tablespoon of fresh nutmeg, and fresh nutmeg makes all the difference in the world. The same goes for peppercorns, pepper, everything. Spices have all these essential oils in them that you just lose when they're pre-grated for you. Alright, so that's 1/8 of a tablespoon right into your heavy cream. The potatoes are going to need some salt, so 4 pinches. And your white pepper. Take a skillet and butter it up. And after we've turned on our oven, we begin building the gratin. So get a bunch of potatoes. And then we begin a circular pattern. So we're sort of building this gratin one layer at a time. Is it sort of like a puzzle? Yes, it's sort of like a puzzle. All right, we've got one layer. Let's do a second layer. All right, so we have our second layer complete. Now we take our mushroom mixture, we layer it. We're just gonna have one mushroom layer, and then we're gonna follow that with some more potato layers. Let's get some cream going right there. Okay, and pour any excess cream right over it. Now let's grate some Parmesan cheese. We sprinkle our Parmesan and pop it in the oven at 350. So we've been going for 45 minutes. We're seeing a little browning on the edges and nothing in the middle. Let's just keep it in there for another 15 and that should crisp up the rest of it. So we've been going for an hour. That is absolute perfection. Look at that. So we're going to want to let it sit for 20 minutes for the cream to even soak up further in the potato, and then you can serve it. All right, it's been resting for 20 minutes now. Potatoes au gratin, or as we call them in the United States, au gratin. This is comfort food. We're talking potatoes and cheese. Now, this is an original recipe introduced by Chef Daniel Boulud, which is the original French chef who came to the United States in the 60s and 70s and really introduced gourmet cooking in New York City and really the rest of the United States. He is an incredible chef with tremendous energy. I'd love to meet him one day. So, this is technically gratin au forestiere, meaning forest, because there is mushrooms in here. I'm a huge fan of mushrooms, and I'm a huge fan of au gratin. So, please subscribe, please give me thumbs up, and let's take a journey to the land of comfort food. of cheesiness, potatoiness, mushroominess, and feel-goodiness. I don't always live on the edge, but when I do, I drink black bean juice. But when I do, I drink black bean juice. Stay thirsty, my friends. I drink. Shut up. See. Okay, see. You got your crunchy, you got your tasty, you got your staple, and you got your tangy. Rice, beans, guacamole, potato chips. You can get this done in under 30 minutes. Makes food for days. This is subsistence at its best. Please subscribe. Please give me thumbs up. Let me show you how to do this. Now for our beans, we're gonna be using the poblano peppers and the shallots. So let's get our rice and beans on first, and then we can get to the guac. So we chop our shallots, put them in a pan. Save this shallot for the guacamole. Chop some peppers.